So good day everyone, especially to Ma'am Clarissa Akat. So my name is Shara Mariano from Bitiland HE2A. So today we are going to discuss about the physical environment. So the physical environment management, which is the classroom management. So it is a drawing on concept possibly related to the work of Carl Weinstein and Andrew Minagno Jr. So the structure divides the physical environments so function into six categories, which is first we have security, a security and shelter, social contact, symbolic identification, task instrumentality, pleasure, and lastly the growth. So first we have six function of the physical classroom environment. So again, we have security and shelter. So this function addresses the fundamentals human needs for safety and physical comfort within the classroom space. So which is often considered the foundations or the first on our hierarchy of needs. So it focuses on safety regulations, being familiar with and following formal regulations like fire codes and health codes. So emergency preparedness, so knowing and practicing emergency procedures. So next we have comfort, minimizing distractions, so attending to environmental factors like temperatures, lighting, and noise. So it also emphasizes incorporating softness, comfortable elements, and eliminating possible distractors. So use suspension rods and flat sheets to conceal cubes and material storage, contributing to an uncluttered and safe field. So number two, we have social contacts. See, this focuses on how the physical arrangement of the classroom facilitates that regulates interactions among students and between the teacher and students. So we have questions and the considerations. So the students' interactions are the desk seating arranged to allow students to talk our neighbor or work with the partner easily. So with a small group or versus a rows. So teacher proximity is the space set up so the teacher is able to reach every child physically. This relates to the concept of proximity control in behavior management. So, is there an action zone? So, this refers to the area of the classroom where the teacher is most frequently present and where student participation is often highest. So, a teacher on his feet is worth 10 of his hit, encourages movement and active supervision by the teacher. So number three, we have symbolic identifications. So this involves how the classroom physical space communicates values, identity, and importance to the students, helping them to feel connected and valued. So it focuses on personalization and inclusion. So featuring things like all about your teachers, display and rotating students' work samples, even if not graded, ensures that every child is represented or has their work featured regularly. So the atmosphere incorporating softness and attending to temperature, lightning, noise, and other possible distractors creates welcome and focused atmosphere. So it used materials like fabric to cover bulletin boards instead of paper, making them more durable, colorful, and visual appealing, which reinforce the care and value placed on the environment. So number four, we have instrumentality. So this concerns how the classroom design supports students and completing learning tasks efficiently and independently. A well-designed room make it easy to student to access what they need and to know where to work. So it focus on organizations and access. Label, and paramount for independence. Students must easily locate materials and put them back. So dedicate spaces, establish spaces in our room. So dedicated to the specific tasks. So like check-in area and reading book or writing center. So the resource management. So We have resource management, considering how will you use the resources in your room and making multitasking as easy possibly or possible. So next we have also independence, working to increase independence by providing clear system for material storage and retrieval. So use small organized containers or toolboxes with drawers or closet shoes holders to house materials like flashcard, pencils, and paper keepings them readily accessible to students. So later on, Ashley Jane Solis will discuss about the layout of the physical environment management. So now let's proceed to the number 5, so which is the pleasure. So this function focuses on making the classroom an aesthetically pleasing and enjoyable place to be appealing to the students. So it senses they're reflecting their interests and enhance motivation and well-being. So it focuses on sensory appeal. So consider all five senses, which is the sight, sounds, smell, touch, and taste. So which appropriate for educational activities to create stimulating yet balanced environment. So like the balance, finding a balance between attractiveness, visual appeal, usefulness, and functional, and the teacher's sanity manageability. So student voice incorporates students like dislikes into the decor and arrangement to foster a sense of ownership. So lastly, we have number 6, growth. So it is about creating a dynamic environment that promotes continuously learning, intellectual curiosity, and arrangement with the wider world. So it focuses in interactive displays. So transform bulletin boards into learning boards, meaning they go beyond static decoration and become interactive, changeable displays that teach and invite explorations. So resource richness, build your classroom resources, and etc. That's all for my topic. So now we can proceed to Ashley Jane Solis. She will going to discuss about the classroom layouts. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Ashley Jane B. Solis, and this is my assigned topic, which is the layout of classroom management. So, there are 6 layout classroom management. First is layout 1, educational goals and environmental function. Number 1, security and shelter. So, the physical environment must be safe and provide a feeling of protection and comfort. This means having a sturdy building, good lighting, a comfortable temperature, and a layout that allows students to feel secure and protected from outside disturbances or dangers. It also includes having clear safety procedures and visible exits. Social contact. The environment should facilitate interaction and communication among people. The layout should encourage student and the teacher to talk, share ideas, and work together. This might mean arranging desks in groups as seen in layout 3 or 5, rather than rows as in layout 2 or 4, and having communal space like the open space in layout 6. Symbolic identification. The environment should reflect the identity, values, and goals of the people using it. This is about making the space feel like the student's classroom. It involves displaying student work, having a class theme or motto, and allowing students to personalize certain areas. It makes the student feel a sense of belonging and ownership. Thus, instrumentality. The environment should be efficiently organized to support the tasks that need to be accomplished. So the layout and placement of materials should make it easy to learn and work. This includes having clear zones for different activities like reading mat or table or science area in layout 1. Easily accessible supplies and furniture arranged to maximize focus during lessons. Fleshware. The environment should be aesthetically pleasing, interesting, and enjoyable to be in. The space should be inviting and not dull. This includes using color, natural light, plants, engaging displays, and comfortable furnishing like reading corner in layout 6 to make the overall atmosphere positive and stimulating. Growth. The environment should actively stimulate learning, discovery, and personal development. This means creating a rich, challenging, and adaptable setting. It involves having varied resources, books, technology, manipulatives, different learning centers as shown in layout 1 and 6, and a layout that can be easily changed to suit new activities, promoting both academic and social emotional growth. So next is layout 2. Layout 2 is the most traditional classroom arrangement, where all desks are placed in straight rows, all facing the front of the room, the teacher's desk, and the board. Security and shelter. This layout creates a very clear, predictable, and orderly environment. The fixed, assigned seating and clear aisles minimize physical conflict and confusion, which contributes strongly to a sense of psychological safety and comfort through structure. The teacher has a clear line of sight to every student, making supervision and discipline straightforward. Social contact. The primary goal of rows is individual focus on the front of the room by placing students one behind the other, facing the same direction. It limits direct, face-to-face interaction and peer-to-peer discussion. While it reduces distractions, it actively discourages spontaneous social contact and collaborative learning. Symbolic identification. The layout strongly symbolizes a teacher centered educational philosophy where the flow of information is mainly from the teacher to the students. It emphasizes compliance, attention, and individual performance rather than community or shared ownership. Student personalization may be limited to bulletin boards and the small space on their desk. Thus, instrumentality. This layout is highly efficient for tasks that require focus, individual attention, and a single point of focus. Good for lectures, presentations, direct instruction, note taking, and individual assessments like tests. Bad for group projects, hands on activities, or debates, as students must constantly twist or move furniture awkwardly to engage with peers. Pleasure. The aesthetic pleasure depends entirely on the teacher's use of wall space, color, decorations, and light. The layout itself is rigid and formal, which some students may find dull or restrictive. However, a clean, quiet, and organized space is inherently pleasant and not distracting for others. Growth. It promotes growth in independent learning, concentration, and listening skills following a lecture. However, it inhibits growth in collaborative problem solving, communication, and critical thinking that benefit from peer to peer interaction and movement. It is best suited for instructional styles where the teacher delivers content and students receive it. So, Layout 2 is a deal for direct, teacher led instruction and managing student behavior in large groups, but it is the least effective for fostering student collaboration and discussion. So next is layout 3. Layout 3 is the clusters or FADS arrangement, which is very common in modern collaborative classrooms. In this layout, desks are grouped together into small teams, usually 3 to 6 students facing each other. Security and shelter. While the small group setting can make students feel comfortable and connected, a form of social security, the arrangement can also lead to more distractions and noise, which might disrupt some students' focus. The teacher needs to actively circulate to ensure all groups stay on task and to maintain order, as some students back maybe to the main instruction area. Symbolic identification. The layout symbolically champions a student centered and collaborative educational philosophy. It sends a message that working together and learning from peers is a core value. Students feel a sense of team ownership over their cluster space. Task instrumentality. This arrangement is highly efficient for tasks that require students to work together, solve problems as team, or conduct projects. Good for group work, cooperative assignments, debates, and peer tutoring. Bad for individual tests, lectures, or direct instruction, as students must turn their chairs to face the front and are easily distracted by the people sitting right across from them. Teachers often have to briefly move desks into rows for formal testing. Pleasure. The social, buzzing energy of classroom in clusters can be highly motivating and engaging for students who enjoy social learning. The atmosphere is generally more relaxed and active than in a traditional row setting, leading to a more enjoyable school experience for many. Growth. This layout powerfully supports growth in communication, teamwork, conflict resolution, and leadership skills. Students learn how to articulate their ideas, listen to others, and manage a group task. It promotes deeper, more interactive learning experiences, though it may be less effective for quiet, sustained individual reflection. So, layout tree or clusters is the best choice for maximizing teamwork and social skill development, but it requires active management from the teacher to control noise and minimize distraction during independent work or direct instruction. So, next is layout 4. Layout 4 is the U shape or horseshoe arrangement, where the desks are placed in a large U shape facing the front of the room. The inner space is left open. This layout is a popular compromise as it tries to blend the benefits of both traditional rows and collaborative settings. Security and shelter. The U shape is excellent for teacher visibility and control. The teacher can easily move around the center of the U, making eye contact with every student and quickly addressing any issues. Students feel physically secure because they can see both the teacher and all of their peers, reducing feelings of isolation or hidden activity. Social contact. This layout significantly promotes communication and class discussion. Every student can see every other student's face, making it easier to hold eye contact, read reactions, and engage in class-wide debates or discussions. The contact is focused on the whole class rather than small groups. Symbolic identification. It symbolizes a philosophy of shared discussion and equal contribution. The teacher still occupies a central role at the open end of the U, but the circular or open nature of the sitting shows that student voices and whole group dialogue are highly valued. It fosters a feeling of a community forum. Task instrumentality. This arrangement is highly efficient for interactive, verbal tasks where everyone needs to participate and refer to a common visual aid like the whiteboard. Good for Socratic seminars, discussions, presentations, demonstrations, debates, and whole class feedback sessions. Bad for group projects as students are separated and individual testing as it too easy to look at the neighbor's work. Pleasure. The open dynamic shape of the U arrangement is more inviting and less formal than traditional rows. It makes students feel like active participants in their lesson, which can increase engagement and make the learning environment more enjoyable. Growth. The U shape is a powerful catalyst for growth in verbal communication, active listening, and critical thinking that occurs during debate and discussion. Since students are visible to everyone, it also helps build confidence in speaking in front of group. It is a fantastic layout for moving past simple content delivery into deeper analysis and synthesis. So layout 4 or the U-shape is the ideal layout for maximizing whole class participation and discussion while maintaining strong teacher control and visibility. So next is layout 5. Layout 5 is a double horseshoe or double U-shape arrangement. This layout is essentially two U-shapes, one inside the other, both facing the front of the classroom. It is designed to accommodate a larger number of students while attempting to maintain the benefits of the single U-shape. Security and shelter. Like the single U-shape, these layouts provides excellent teacher visibility to all students, which promotes order and a sense of supervision. However, the inner circle of students may feel a bit on display to both the teacher and the outer circle of students, which might slightly reduce the feeling of privacy or comfort some. Social contact. The face-to-face sitting enables good social contact for whole class discussions similar to the single U shape. The challenge lies in the inner versus outer circle dynamics. Students in the inner circle are very close to each other, while students in the outer circle are further away from their peers across the room, which can make discussions flow a little less seamless than in the single U shape. Symbolic identification. It symbolizes a focus on class-wide discussion and direct instruction. The arrangement still places the teacher as the focal point at the open end, but the dual ring structure implies a need to manage a larger number of participants in the conversation. It values whole group participation over small group collaboration. Task instrumentality. This arrangement is highly efficient for interactive verbal lesson when the class size is large or more than 5 or more than 25 students. It keeps all eyes generally focused forward for instruction and allows for clear line of sight during discussions. Good for large class discussions, whole group reviews, presentations, and demonstrations. less suitable for hands-on activities or small group works, as the space is often tight and moving furniture is difficult. Pleasure. The design is generally more engaging than traditional rows, as most students can see the teacher and their peers without turning completely around. The open center space can be used for activities, which adds a dynamic element to the room. Growth. This layout supports growth in verbal communication and active listening on a large scale. It allows the teacher to address a bigger class while still encouraging students to practice speaking and critical thinking in a whole group setting. It challenges students to maintain focus even when seated further back. So layout 5 or double horseshoe is an excellent layout for maximizing whole class participation and discussion when you have a large number of students, balancing the need for structure with the desire for interaction. So lastly is layout 6. Layout 6 is the learning center or differentiated instruction arrangement. In this layout, the classroom is divided into several clearly defined functional areas or centers: reading corner, math table, open space, etc., where different learning activities happen simultaneously. This arrangement is highly flexible and student driven, and it is most commonly used in early elementary or special education classrooms. Security and shelter. The clear boundaries and expectations for each center provide structure and predictability, which is comforting for students. While there is more movement, the smaller, focused groups within each center can offer a sense of security. The reading corner, often shown with soft seating, provides a crucial space for quiet, self regulated shelter. Social contact. Social contact is excellent, but it is intentional and varied. Students interact heavily with a small number of peers within their specific center at the math table. They also practice independent work. The social goals are tied to specific tasks, promoting focused collaboration rather than just free for all chat. Symbolic identification. This layout powerfully symbolizes a philosophy where student needs, choice, and diverse learning styles are paramount. The environment itself is the curriculum, showcasing different skills like science, reading, and communicating that learning is an active process happening everywhere. It fosters a strong sense of ownership over the learning space. Task instrumentality. This is the most efficient layout for a teacher running multiple activities, supporting different skills levels, and managing diverse materials. At the same time, everything a student needs for a task, like art supplies, reading materials, science tools, is organized and contained in its specific zone, maximizing efficiency. Good for differentiated instruction, independent project, skill practice, and small group teacher led instruction at a dedicated table. Less suitable for large group, uniform lectures, or formal testing, which would require students to gather in the open space or temporarily re- reorganize the room. Pleasure. The variety of sites, textures, and activities makes the room highly stimulating, interesting, and engaging. The inclusion of comfortable and aesthetically pleasing areas like the reading corner makes the classroom an enjoyable place to be, promoting a positive attitude toward learning. Growth. This layout is the best for promoting holistic growth and self regulation. Students learn to manage their time, make choices about their learning, transition between tasks, and work independently. It allows them to develop skills at their own pace and explore different subjects through hands on experiential learning. So, Layout 6, or Learning Centers, is the most flexible and empowering arrangement, maximizing differentiated instruction, student choice, and engagement across multiple learning activities. And that's all for my assigned topic.